Hey everyone, I want to ask you a question today. Are you living your destiny? Are you actually living what you were made for? Or are you just living what somebody else's opinion of your destiny is, meaning based on other people, the media, news, magazines, friends, family, school teachers? Are you walking out what you were created for and your purpose, or are you living out what other people's opinions say should be your destiny? This is a question you got to ask yourself. And the indicator of this is if you ask these two questions and then find out if you're moving towards them. Here's the first one. If you had the ability to guarantee that you could be successful at whatever it is that you would do, what would you do? What would that thing be that you would do? The other one is that if you knew that, you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do with that 24 hours? Now look at those two answers, okay, for you, whatever those answers are, and put the two side by side. I'm going to guarantee you that you're not doing right now what those two things are. For example, if your answer is yes, then you need to expand your vision and dream bigger. Take a look at those two things and then look at where you are now and look at what decisions do I need to make, choices do I need to make, actions and outcomes and results need to be created. What hard things do I need to do to move me from where I am? What needs to happen in my life to move me from where I am now to those things that I wrote down? Now, here's the thing. Those two things are not your destiny. Those are road maps, points along the way. They're stops along the way in that, along the path of your destiny. But they point you as a GPS towards where you're headed to go. So those two answer to those questions. What would you do if you knew that you were going to die tomorrow? What would you do? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Live like you're dying. That type of statement. The other thing is what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail and success was guaranteed? What would you do with your life? And then hold those two side by side and look at what needs to happen for you to move towards that. If you're wondering which direction to go in your life, the direction is this: the choices that you need to make to move closer to those things. Now, here's where I've seen a lot of people twist this, is they will hold those two things up for their whole life, and then as experiences go on 10, 20, 30 years, they don't change them. They don't ask that same question again. They don't ask that same question. And so sometimes you got to ask yourself every 6 months, every year from now, if the answers to those questions are the same for you. I know when I was 10 years old, 15, 20, 30, they weren't the same answers, okay? They were not the same. But I know for a fact mine were to live boldly and not worry what other people thought about me and go after my dreams. And one of those dreams was to produce movies and to make a lot of money and to get married. And so I got married. I did one of those things, But if you ask yourself that, use it as a roadmap. These questions are not to get you to be morbid or to think in a weird, twisted way, but rather to look above your current situation at what's that thing that pops into your head. And then start looking at where are you right now? What choices do you need to make? What decisions, what actions do you need to take to move you from where you are right now one step closer to those things that you said, one step closer to that? And that points you like a GPS. Let's say you can rotate your life this way or that way. A lot of people will swing in our life. In our 20s, we swing in one direction, and then in our 30s, we start to swing in another direction. We're trying to find where our destiny is. We're looking for that meaning of life, like it's a metal detector. Bzz, 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 bzz. You can get a lot closer to what that is and point at it by asking those two questions and then looking at what would I do? And then what has to happen for me to do that and then live that way in that direction. Now, I'm going to say this as a fact. you're going to start going that way and realize, oh, maybe that was maybe a little off track. So that's when you got to ask the questions again and get realigned in the center. And that's what getting centered towards your destiny is. You're pulling from the dimension of the future into your present reality, and you're walking it out, you're living it out, and your future then manifests in your present reality. Instead of you living in the past, living in what could have been, what should have been, comparing to the past, comparing to other people, and wondering, man, if only I had their life, I could succeed. Are you living your destiny, or are you living someone else's opinion for your destiny? Listen, I don't want to give you my opinion of your destiny. I'm not here to do that. But these are tools that I've used throughout my life. And one of the biggest ones is, if success was guaranteed and failure was not possible, what would you do? You do that. And then the other one, if you lived like you were dying, if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, what would you do with that time? And then start to live and structure your life in that way. Not thinking about that, not thinking or worrying about that happening, not feeling like, oh, I'm running out of time, but rather, God, pray. That's big. That's too big. I can't do it. And if your vision isn't big enough to get you on your knees praying, it needs to be bigger. Your vision and your legacy needs to outlive you. My brother, Rick Pino, said that. And he just popped on here. So, which is funny. That's hilarious. Woo. Oh, man. Anyways, he said that. He's like, your vision has to be bigger than just your lifetime. And I thought that was so powerful. Has to outlive you. Has to go further. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? And if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, what would you do? And then that's the metal detector to point you in the direction of your destiny. And sometimes you might be off track. And so then you ask the same question again and you do this. And then you get on your knees and you pray and you ask God, this is too much for me to do on my own. I need you. Fill me and help me accomplish this and help me do this. And it'll point to that. Now, there's a lot more to that spiritual side with God. And this isn't a talk about that. But I know there's a lot of people watching this right now that they don't know where they're going. They don't know what they want to do. They don't have a direction for their life. And so what I want to do just with this one little talk is help point you just a little bit closer in the right direction by asking those two questions. And then you start to structure your life and you maybe ask, what do I need to learn? Who do I need to meet? Who do I need to talk to? What decisions do I need to make? What changes do I need to make in my life to move towards that instead of moving in the other direction? And it shifts you and adjusts you towards your destiny. And you can live a lifestyle of that, a lifestyle of prayer, a lifestyle of dedication, a lifestyle of discipline and focus on where you're going. And nothing is impossible in that. Grow your life, everybody. Listen, if you don't have somebody that's a mentor that can help you walk you down that path, if you don't have somebody that is coming alongside you, that's what I'm here for. That's why I do these videos every day. I want to help people stay plugged in on these videos every single day, plugged into my Facebook group. It's free. And on my YouTube, where I do daily videos, my podcast, I have a new episode every single day about how to grow in your life and grow in business. Because if you grow in your life, it impacts business, finances. If you grow in business, you influence more people. Business is a vehicle for mass global influence to expand your territory, your reach, all of that. I talk about that. Okay? And there's so much more to that. And I talk about that in the podcast. But if you just shift your life either from one direction to another and just aim just a little bit more on target with your destiny by asking those simple questions. And then you start taking a step of faith forward, one foot in front of the other every single day, not looking backward to the left or to the right, but staying focused forward and staying in prayer and asking God, work through me, live through me. You won't recognize your life and nothing will be impossible. And impossible possibilities become possible. The impossible becomes possible and then starts to manifest in your life by actions, by taking action in the face of fear, moving past it. And I got videos and podcasts on fear, on dreaming, on techniques and methods to learn and grow and all of that. So go check all that out. Grow your life, everybody. And we'll talk soon.